Dom Chan.
Mark, how you doing?
Mate, I'm well. Welcome.
That's good. I feel welcome. This is a very comfortable car to be in.
It's a very practical ute.
It is. It is. I like the way that there's leg space.
It's way beyond... leg space is important, particularly when you're a fat man like me.
Oh, right, okay.
But it's way beyond the... Like, it gives me credibility that I don't deserve. Because I am not a practical man by any stretch of the... Like, a ute is only for me to put, like, my instruments in. That's all I'm going to do.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. That's a good point.
What do you do for a living? What's your jobs?
Jobs? Well, actually, I only have one job at the moment.
Yeah.
And I work part-time at a Queensland Uniting Church as the worship pastor.
Excellent.
And so, yeah, I've been doing that for almost 3 years now. I was previously a piano teacher, but I let that go for at least a little while because I needed a break from it.
And I would imagine that having to play the same piece or hear people who are learning butcher the same piece of music over and over could get testing.
It's not the butchering as much as the lack of intention to actually practice and improve.
Oh, yeah.
The irony being I also didn't particularly like practicing. I loved improving.
Yeah.
Practicing. But, you know, now the shoe's on the other foot and I'm like, 6 years. Take a break.
Given that you were teaching piano, does that mean that you played from a young age? Was that your choice? Was it parents saying, Dom, but you must play, it's important? What was the deal there?
Yeah, no, so I have an older sister, and so she started when she was about 7. And because my older sister did it, I wanted to do it. So she was about 7, which means I was probably about 3. I always enjoyed performing and the feeling of performing. Didn't necessarily enjoy the practicing and the feeling of needing to get better.
Yeah.
So, you know, sometimes there were those difficult conversations about like, well, Dom, if you don't want to absolutely freak out this time before your exam, you really have to practice. It's like, no. It's like, no, you really have to practice. Yeah. And so there may have been a few heated discussions / arguments, as you do when you're young and you think that you know everything.
For sure.
It just doesn't feel right. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You have to practice anyway. I kind of went, well, I really like music, and I'm very interested in jazz. I'm very curious about I was more curious about how do I improvise? How do I do that thing where people can just make things up on the spot? Because that is the coolest thing I've ever seen and heard. And so consequently, I had some key people who fed me good jazz. Yes. And I had some key people who fed me some good advice. And I ended up studying at the Queensland Conservatorium of Music, majoring in jazz piano. Wow.
So you don't just like jazz, you studied jazz.
I studied jazz, yes. Yeah. Yes. The latest kind of creative thing that I've done is that I released a lullabies EP, which
sounds decidedly un-jazz.
But like there are a lot of jazz influences. Sure. Not a crazy amount of jazz influences, but like the chord progressions and stuff. Yep. I kind of grabbed. There's one of them in particular that when the guy was recording it with me, he's like, "Oh, it sounds like Disney." This song is. I'm gonna nickname this one the Disney song. Like, okay, sure, yeah, okay, fine. So some of it, I wouldn't say it's a jazz thing, but it does have a few little jazz-inspired jazz influences. Yeah. I actually had this one instance. It all started because this a friend of mine was talking about having a baby, and that I know how to deal with it if the baby cries. I just turn them upside down and let all the bad fall out. Right. Which I thought was like a really cute, like dadsy thing to say. Like he wouldn't necessarily actually do that because apparently it's bad for babies.
Apparently the kids don't like it.
Apparently. And I mean, like the horrified expressions from all of our friends may have given that away a little bit.
And by kids we mean police.
Yeah. But yeah, no, but I thought that was a really cool line, and it inspired the first lullaby, and then from there I kind of wrote 4 more. Yeah. What does
your ideal time of worship look like?
There's a need for there to be permission for people to be emotionally honest.
Yeah.
The whole like, yeah, well, you know, we sing all these happy clappy songs, but like, you know that so and so is struggling with depression, or you know that so and so is actually having a really hard time at home, or like their work is absolutely rubbish right now.
Yeah.
And I feel that like people definitely need to be able to be emotionally honest, because the fact is we're in church, and church isn't meant to be, well, we put the mask on and pretend that everything's okay. We're meant to bear ourselves before God, and as the church we have to be able to support each other and stuff.
I reckon now's a good time for us to get some coffee, yeah?
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Great idea.
I need you now, 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 I need you now.
Is a good worship leader someone who is well prepared, i.e. knows what's in the order of service, has got that sorted out, or is it someone who is willing to cast it all aside for what they believe God is doing?
I think it's both, because it's good to know what you're doing, but be willing to adapt, I believe. So yeah, you gotta know what you're doing, just so that you don't get flustered, and so that people don't get distracted by the process of you figuring things out.
Yeah. Have you grown up in the Uniting Church?
Yep. So I've actually only ever worshipped at Emmanuel, effectively. Yeah? I mean, as a kid, there was the point where they were building the church physically. But yeah, so I've grown up in the Uniting Church. I've only ever really been part of the Emmanuel congregation. So, yeah.
So what do you expect from the Uniting Church in the next 40 years?
I don't know. Instinctively, I don't know.
Yep.
Instinctively, yeah, I don't know what to expect from the Uniting Church.
Every morning, you wake up, you get out of bed, and you choose to follow Jesus.
Yeah.
Why do you make that choice, Dom?
Some of it has to do with hope of what's to come, with hope in what's already happened. And some of that sometimes is because I just don't understand enough, and I want to understand more.
So what's on your radar? What are you looking forward to in your life?
You know, I'm really looking forward to seeing the way God will end up shining through the people that I'm kind of mentoring. And another thing that I'm looking forward to is getting to the point where the things that I do at the moment at church can be taken on by someone else.
Yeah.
Not because I don't like the job, and not just because I want to like step down or anything, but because it means that I know that it's not just on me, and that there are other people that God are using for that kind of thing. And there are some autonomous things that I feel that if I can equip people to do that, and then they can continue equipping other people, then the role that I have will change dramatically. It'll change and the way that I spend time changes.
Yeah.
Because yeah, there's just some things that it's just like, oh no, don't worry about it. Like, we got this covered. You don't have to worry about it. It's like, oh, okay. It's like, go spend time with people so that they can grow and, yeah.
Awesome, man.
Mm.
Mate, thank you so much for your time today. It's been so great
It's a pleasure.
to have a chat with you.
Yep.
I look forward to seeing what God does with you. I think
Thank
it's an incredible opportunity for you, man.
Mm.
Sweet.
See you later.
Thanks, Dom.
See you, Mo.
BreadFishToo.